All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, of course, to the Home Sweet Home broadcast. We're getting into the final couple of games here in Group C. Of course, it is the elimination best of three, as we can see as the bracket pops up. A very quick day so far. We'll see if that follows the trend, but it's going to be Copenhagen Flames, a newly recruited Hector Z in their roster as well, going against the Finns of Kova today.
Well, that's certainly true that we've had some quick games, especially Copenhagen Flames getting destroyed against Force. I didn't expect them to be losing it in that kind of manner. Then again, you know, the best of three between OG and Force, again, as you said, just a swift one, very snappy, very quick to end. And in this best of three ahead of us, Copenhagen Flames versus Kova, as you said, the Finns, they've proven themselves worthy a few weeks back. If I think on it, it's what, 2 weeks ago, something like that. They've shown they've got the tenacity. They've shown they've got the skill, at least to a certain degree. Copenhagen Flames is probably going to be the easiest opponent for them today to deal with, at least in that regard, given how poor they showed to be just earlier against Force. Although it's a best of three, right? It's again going to be a bit iffy on some parts, with, of course, having Nuke, Overpass, and Train as our three maps.
Yeah, there's a solid map pool here, especially when you do take a look at obviously what the side of Flames do have, and you know, even with their recent roster, there was an announcement recently, of course, that they've got that new member in their side. Obviously, with how many players have been transitioned from Copenhagen Flames to other sides, they've required Hector or Hectors or Hector Z, whichever you prefer, to come into the side. Seems like a pretty solid member. Has been one of those again that they've taken not a risk on, but again, been around the scene for an incredibly long time, but comes into this as his one of his, let's say, more higher flying teams that he's got to hand. But like you say, first map of Nuke picked by Kova, solid win percentage for them in terms of the map itself, 62% for them. Copenhagen Flames, you know, they play this map not as great, 33% or so. But like you say, they've got that overpass map. We know it's a very consistent one for Copenhagen Flames. It does feel like a pretty generic best of three veto, actually. There's no, you know, major outliers. There's no crazy, scarily close middle ground. It just feels like a three-map series that should go the full distance, really.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? You know, given what Kova displayed, and actually performance against OG for Kova was not as bad as one would have imagined, right? You know, OG, after all, are OG. And if anything, we know how good they can be and how good they are, you know, on par, in my mind, with Complexity, for example. If not, you know, maybe not as well structured, but definitely close. And Kova, the fact that he lose 16-8, speaks to say that, at least if nothing else, they have a bit of a brawler in themselves, and they can definitely take up a challenge when presented with one. Might not have been the cleanest of series for them, but much better than what Copenhagen Flames displayed against Forza, which, when you draw a comparison between, you know, both best of ones, Kova should be the one losing 16-3 or worse, whilst Copenhagen Flames were to be expectedly getting at least, you know, 8+ in that regard. So it's weird seeing such a stark difference between the two. And as you said, Nuke, Overpass, and Train being our three maps, it doesn't really give anybody that big of an advantage for one or the other side. Of course, Kova, their performance of Overpass, when you look at it, it's non-existent. Comes as a surprise that they don't actually ban the map. But then again, you know, it's not that big of a hassle. If they're feeling comfortable, they might as well take it, right?
Yeah, thankfully it's not a map like Vertigo or Nuke. Like, if, for example, they didn't play Nuke and they left it in the veto, it's one of those where, because it is such an intricate map, there is a worry there. But thankfully it is Overpass. You know, it's fairly, not default, but it's not as structured as other maps that we could have seen here. So yeah, they can ride into that, at least with judgment on their side per se. Like you say, with the fact that it is one of Copenhagen Flames' most played map, you doubt that they'd even stray away from it, you know, even after the roster change that they've made. So they've gone in for that pretty consistent pick again, which is nice to see. Overpass has always been solid for them since the arrival of Tesses. It's been one of the maps that they were able to pick up and still transition through their IGLs, obviously with the way that this side has gone so far, and from Hooksy to Asilium back to Hooksy, they've been able to keep at least the fundamentals in there without very massive change. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this Kova side performs, especially on this first map, which Copenhagen Flames we do see are not particularly active in terms of playing Nuke. Couple of games on HLTV, 33% win rate. It's not particularly that great. But a side like Kova, they are very, very impressive. We saw what they could do. The likes of Twixy and Pietola, they were looking very, very good. And speaking of very good, we're starting bang on time. We're going to dive into the knife round dead on the clock, dead on 16:50. We'll be getting straight into it, which is what you love to see. No delays at all. Copenhagen Flames versus Kova. Map number 1 on Nuke. Knife round to decide, of course, who gets that CT start. But it is the elimination best. It means everything if both of these teams want to survive here in the bracket today.
Well, this is it. It is the curtain closing slowly here with these two teams, as you said, being in an elimination series. They're going to be limited to just these 3 maps, potentially only the 2. And I have to say, you pointed out well, Copenhagen Flames, Overpass has been kept in their map pool. Surprisingly enough, they left Nuke in there as well. And looking at it a little bit more in detail, their loss against FaZe, their loss against Forza, if it were FaZe, we could be speaking a different kind of style. But the loss against Forza coming in a best of 1, 16-3 on Nuke, definitely raises a bit of concerning thought, perhaps a bit of a concerning eyebrow as to how to deal with Kova. But let's find out for ourselves, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, the pistol is live, the map is live. Let's see how this best of 3 series spins out as we have Kova versus Copenhagen Flames. And well, the start so far, Hector's. Oh my. Yeah, that is as good as it gets, I guess.
Yeah, that great start. What else can we say? It's an absolute wipeout. Hector Z getting beautiful 4K Kova. That is, that's not how you want to start. First round already gone for them. They've gone for the force buy, of course, but quickest pistol round of the week. I'm gonna hedge a bet that might be so. Very rapid start.
Extremely fast, yeah, and I would actually support that bet. I'm fairly certain it was the fastest one up to date. Nodios blinded, spotted. This getaway safely though. Hector's deciding to not get himself snapped. Although, as much as he wanted to hold a angle, it's Kova that punished that. Copenhagen Flames not exactly in the pristine condition they could have been. Ooh, wait a second. This is not yet done, as Queenix finds himself a return. At least it's a 2-on-2, but Queenix at 3 HP with an MP9. He definitely puts himself in grave danger. Luckily, Nodios, though. What a chaotic round, though. I gotta say, this is so unlike Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, thankfully they come out of the woodwork there with Nodios. Deal the deal with the FAMAS, but again, a very expensive round, and let you say, a round that we don't particularly see too often going in the favor of Copenhagen Flames opponents. They usually are quite concise in the force buys, but safety is they do get out with the round itself. 2-0 start for the CT side, should be 3 as well. Hooksy already just trying to go aggressive, see what he can find the depths of that T side spawn, but the pistol upgrade should be a 3-0 beginning. I doubt that Kova will be able to get away with too much. Refresh again in this solid hook position with the auto shotgun is always going to be a deadly asset. The rest of the side fairly standard in their approach. But Kova, we do want to see them applying the pressure into the first gun round. Especially being on a T side, they can't afford to get off to a rough start. It is their own map pick, of course. What better way to begin? He really gets the headshot onto Hooksy, finds the opening kill, at least gives them a slight advantage on a full eco round. You can't take that away from a side like Kova. They have punished with Deagles, if we can remember, with Pika and Durkips, their performance on the Deagles back on train the previous time. But again, there's always a threat. Copenhagen Flames do have to be careful.
As they do. As course Secret is overtaken, Kova will not be hiding their how to say, not desires necessarily, but wishes and, well, wants, as they are making their way towards the B site through long. Hectos is able to clear at least the one. Refresh is only good for the one as well, as Twixie returns an immediate double and secures a deadly round here for Kova. You gotta be kidding me. Copenhagen Flames, boys. This is a little bit unacceptable. I hate to say it, but you are getting manhandled here by an eco that you knew was coming, that you knew was going your way. So it definitely comes as a bit of a surprise. And Uli able to take down Refresh like that. As simple as that. And Queenix, he has no kit. Not sure what he's trying to achieve here, besides maybe getting a frag or two, but he's already ran out of options, ran out of time. And there goes Uli, even picks up the M4 to save it. I am a little bit surprised. Full eco victory as Kova take it away. Simple as that, seemingly.
Yeah, that's a wild round for Copenhagen Flames. Giving up a full eco is deadly to the economy. You can see what damage that it does now. They're down to an eco round, unfortunately. Well, forced by for the majority, but again, still investing mix match across the side. Beautiful nade onto Uli to at least kick things off and inject some early damage onto this T side. But again, that is not a round that you want to be losing, especially putting the CT side under threat on a map like Nuke. We know that is deadly to allow the T side any sort of early round start that they can grab right now. Nodios on the scout. Goes for the early peek. Gets away with a tag onto PQ. Damage done, sure. Softens the targets, but no definitive kill as of yet. You can see with the way that Kova are playing, just sit back. No reason to fully commit to a round without the further info. They've now realized the B site is clear. They'll take it over. Bomb will go down. Should be a round for Kova to level the scores. Copenhagen Flames is their own doing right at the start of this map. Allowing Kova an early opportunity, and they're firing all cylinders ready to take it.
Well, it seems like they will be definitely taking each and every chance they get, and certainly they do, as it is to be expected. Kova, they've come a long way. You know, they've definitely had their past challenges. Some of the players we've seen in different lineups in the past, they've never really been able to shine, you know, never been even given a chance to shine. And I gotta say, I'm happy to see Kova perform like this. The Finnish scene, although albeit having some great teams to begin with, you know, Kova, another great addition. And hopefully they'll keep on playing as well as they do and showing why they should be considered for perhaps the higher-ups on the scene itself. In any case, tied back up, Copenhagen Flames, they put themselves in the corner effectively with the force buy. Refresh is the only one to save the UMP. Well, Queenix saves the Deagle, sure, but this is definitely a bit of a shaky start. Copenhagen Flames, it feels like we're back against Forza, where they just kind of lost their way halfway through. I should say as well, they lost the half 3-12, and then just lost it straight out.
Yeah, that's where there's always a cause for concern, right?
Yeah, it is.
Flames hit. For UMP. Refresh. Building the only SMG they've got. Full eco will give over a nice little, should be 3-2 before the first gun round or real gun round of Copenhagen Flames. We'll have enough for the AWP, which, again, in the current position, without Farley, of course, I'm incredibly interested to see who will sort of mainframe this AWP role on this side now. Still Kova. Nice and slow. As easy as you'd like. Take down the B control. No real challenge either. The only player on that B bomb site is Refresh. He is the only player with any subsequent rifle, at least. Although Hooksy, first dead off the mark, over extension out through vents. Refresh spotted, B site lost. Should be a fairly simple round from here on out. Pistols, the only asset that they have left, and well, those are already gone. 3-2, Kova establishing at least a one-round lead, but it's the buy to come from Flames. Should be Hector on the AWP. Yeah, it is, of course, as that is, yeah, the role that he's been drafted in. But 3-2, Kova at least taking a slight advantage. gun round, though, for Flames. They'll keep him in the game. They can't afford to lose it. Eco on the way if they do.
Cannot. Hectos. Let's see if his opping skills will be up to par. Definitely going to be a challenge ahead, but it's not impossible, as we do see. It is going to be a bit of an outside take again by Kova. Hectos holding the line, drops the first, that's the bomb carry, misses the second shot, needs to get the hell out of dodge. He will be risking his life. He goes for a second shot as well, or excuse me, the third. Luckily, that he doesn't get himself completely shunted out and still is staying behind the corner. Good enough for 2 at least. That is the lucky part for Copenhagen Flames. But I wouldn't put them into the luck department just yet. It's a 3-on-3 now as Twixy takes the head off Nodio. Sox, he's coming in through vents. He will be checked. Of course, he will not be checked as Piku gets taken out. Uxie, good timing. And the third will be spotted alongside, as Kova will have to concede their advantage. It's Copenhagen Flames with a bit of a saving call here by Huxie. Saving grace, really. That he catches both players in the back, effectively being able to shut down Twixy before things get out of hand as well.
Much better from Flames. Gives them a solid little round to tie the scores back up. They do lose that AWP, but again, the game being quite early, Copenhagen Flames will not have to worry about the T-sided sniper. And as far as I can sort of remember in the previous encounters, it wasn't really Kova that did run a T-side AWP. Dirkip keeps himself on a rifle. Huxie, great peek though. Flashbang from Hector's perfect to blind 2 of them. Already down into a 5-on-3. This will be a cause for concern for Kova. A push through the smoke though.
Oh,
Trades the kill onto Nodios. Dirkip's maybe a little bit more lucky than we might have imagined, but a sweet kill to find, as that does narrow the things down into a 4-on-3. This is doable. Fresh, though, the angle that he has baits out the first shot. Yettler dead.
Oh,
the
the
lineup. There we go. 3 kills, 3 headshots. Refresh wraps it up 4-3, and Copenhagen Flames take back the lead.
Pulled it together perfectly. Refresh. You can see his control here and a little bit of excitement as soon as he sees both of the last 2 players there as well. But he's able to keep it clean. 4-3 as Kova to get themselves another buy round. Not optimal for Pietola, as he has to go for Galil. Neither it is for Twixy. Interesting decisions. They actually choose to go for maximum utility and sacrifice firepower for that. Very interesting. It does bring about perhaps a little bit of a better understanding of the players as well, showing that they care much more about just securing the round for the team and supporting the team as a whole, rather than themselves being the fragging monsters. Which in regard, I am surprised that Twixy chooses to go for the AK. I mean, you could have easily sacrificed 2 flashbangs and you would have had enough for an AK. That kept a little bit overly aggressive on the same angle. Huxie finds him, yet Uli is quick enough to respond. Second for Uli. No, Huxie wins that duel. And we're back to square one as Copenhagen Flames still keep a man advantage.
Now as well, Huxie, he is quite low, so trade might be made somewhat easier, but with the way that he's repositioned out toward heaven with that AWP, this gives him some form of viable approach. Piku, however, not too sure where that came from, but
they pushed Hut.
Oh, they did. Piku. Beautiful little double piece, gives them the advantage yet again. Huxie, the Molotov might just cut him off the damage. Only a tick, but the flank already handled. Leaves Nodios isolated. That'll be the round for Kova.
Once again, Kova, they lose the entry as Derkeps got caught trying to be a bit of a hero with the AWP, finding himself only to get a bullet in the base of his skull. That angle that he reaggressed with was definitely not worth it. But then again, coming in Uli with the refrag, did solo push forward, getting caught by Huxie, which kind of complicated matters even further. Of course, Copenhagen Flames in that moment having the man advantage itself. But we didn't see the Piku double, although we can definitely surmise well enough with both players being dead in hut for Copenhagen Flames that they've decided to overtake lobby control most likely, and well, they paid a high price for it, losing the round, losing the players, and above all else, being reset economically speaking. Again, look at Refresh's economy, look at Nodius, look at Queenix. They have barely enough to scrape by some sort of a some sort of a buy itself. With Refresh on a 5-7, Queenix the MP9, and M4 being dropped by, of course, Huxi that survived. In either case, 4-4, Kova is keeping track of Copenhagen Flames, and that should be a little bit more scary than what we're used to seeing, especially when the T side is able to control you like this. Maybe not control being the right word, but definitely being able to keep tabs on you like this.
Yeah, it's always an interesting issue. Queenix
through the smoke, I'm not sure.
Yeah, pressure put on. Refresh, though, gets stuck in the Molotov. Not even stuck, just sits in the Molotov there. Burns down his entire health. Loses his life there and keeps Kova in the round just barely. Back to a 3-on-3. This is now definitely still viable here. The utility is almost gone for Flames, so thankfully Hector's does have a full set, but it makes it a lot harder to hold when the A site is under threat with no protection. Minute just gone. Zerkips will put the pressure on to Hut at least, keep this aggressive aspect of Flames under control, but with no reason to commit just yet. Quixie, they'll just sit back. Got time on their hands. If they can work out where the positions are being held by Flames, there's a chance they work this out. Huxi on the corner. First man exposed. Gets away with it. Great hold, and Twixie isolated. Should be the round wrapped up, although Nodio's maybe a little worried to commit great Molotov damage, though that should be Flames getting the round secured.
Most definitely is the operative word should here. Oh, Twixie. Unfortunately, being a little bit conservative with his angle and will not be able to find Nodius in the end. Close call, though. Very close call. And yeah, this is, this is exactly the moment where I was like, wait, what? Kova, they just run out of hut, run like crazy, not really giving a damn about anything. And I would understand that sentiment if they were having $1 too many, or if they had, let's say, 16,000 across the board to not care about something like that. But it definitely felt a little bit forced, just not really thought of, and they lose 2 players before they even have a chance to respond, which kind of puts them on the back plate. It's just a surprise that Kova are actually playing like that on a full buy. Now on a full eco, we can see that they're going to be going through the smoke with a flash support to take ramp control. And let's see what they can do. Well, the answer, nothing. Nodio sprays down. Make sure that this is as easy as it gets. And Copenhagen Flames, 6 rounds to them. All the power to the people right now, as the Danes are starting to rack up the numbers. And thanks to Nodios, they don't lose potentially a vital round here.
So far, at least a decent performance out of Flames, considering that Nuke is one of the maps that isn't as best in their repertoire as others. It is a very strong performance so far, and sure, they are regular attendees on this map. 15 played across the last 3 months, but it's not been a great run. The only victory they've gotten in the month of both of May and June has been against Vez 16-13. So again, there's been a couple rough runs, but we'll see what Kova can do here to turn the tides. Got money, but only just, as Buy has now been exhausted into the next round. Copenhagen Flames, they take away this one, a chance to extend their first half so far. Hector's pulls back, does not want to sit. And Molotov, this is where Kova can now take over the ramp control. Hector's blocked off, they have no vision whatsoever of players moving down towards ramp. Thankfully, it is only a single man. No reason to overcommit to the rotate just yet. As far as I can tell, Nodios is repositioned onto the back of Silo, spots the angle, gets away with the first, realizes that there's nobody else, rats out the setup of Kova, and this will keep Flames ultra defensive on this A-bomb site as they do look to take over here.
Refresh will be holding from a very perceivable angle, though nobody checks it, nobody molos it, they don't really care, and Refresh will find himself 3 frags as easy as that. Kova starting to go in blind and perhaps a little bit overconfident even as Twixie goes for the pre-fire behind the hut position and on towards the hut itself, of course, hoping to find a frag. But ignorance is bliss, they say, and Copenhagen Flames, well, 7-4, they don't really care. They're starting to ramp up the numbers. Finally, you know, this is the performance that we had hoped to see against Fortset. Never got to that part, though, which kind of does take away a little bit of the entirety of Copenhagen Flames. Huxi, very aggressive. Pulls back, though. Uli seems to be aware of this. He might have heard the steps of Huxi. If that is the case, there's potential for more here. Or, of course, Kova. Uli gets the frag. Hectos gets fragged.
Oh dear. WP down. Rifle to follow. This is where Kova starts a pincer in the bomb site. Queenix, though. Information has to be good. Lines up 2. That might just be enough, but only barely. Molotov down into vents will assist for the plant at least. Timing is good from Flames, though. They might be able to pass through main before Pietola does rotate back to check this sort of position. Not yet, though. Durkips spots out the final player and then realizes the angle does get the kill himself. Nade might do the trick. Beautiful damage. Keeps him at bay. Tap onto the bomb. Has to go for the swing, but refresh. There's the tap. Yeah, not choosing to stick this, but gets away with it. We'll find the defuse at 8 on the board. Expensive for Copenhagen Flames, but it is a round nevertheless.
I love how Refresh takes that angle, that he's not intricately aiming at the top and waiting for the peak, but rather he's aiming midway, so he has vision of the top and he can quickly press the bomb whilst doing that as well. So he's continuously in that position of advantage for himself. Although I will have to point out that perhaps their Keps was a little bit too eager to get the frag. He should have relied on Pietola to at least cover one of his angles and then isolate the challenge. But then again, you know, Kova already did a great deal of damage with just getting the frag or getting the frags and getting the bomb plant. So either way, we are going to be having ourselves an 8-4 first half with Copenhagen Flames looking pretty slick as it is. Money is not a problem, at least won't be for at least one more round after. And Kova is being put in a bit of a cradle here. Slowly stopped and halted in their place. By the looks of it, might be a fast ramp push though, and definitely will be.
I like this, yeah, Kova. Trying to put the pressure on Nodios. Might have been a little Molotov there in the impact of that kill, but as far as I could tell, at least from our visual, wasn't as blatant. So, no, not blatant, that's probably the wrong word to say. But not as visible as it would have been from his, but gives them a great advantage. Already Kova forced back to default. We'll be looking to take over the outside position with those smokes. Kuku will line his up for the front of Secret. Second one will drop just behind it. But still, Copenhagen Flames, this is quite a convincing performance so far. To say that this is a team that, you know, picks up a nuke victory every 4 to 5 games or so. This is a very, very nice output at the moment. Still, the pressure is on. Hector spots out a player, Piku. There we go. Queenix not yet being spotted on the back of the site, though. Oh, this could go incredibly wrong, and it definitely does. The
dirty
bomb
dancing
does go down, but thankfully the round might have just been saved. Although, as Uli catches Nodios, it makes Queenix's job a lot harder. He does have the time to maybe force out the defuse, but Uli, step ahead of the game. Copenhagen Flames will find themselves 5, and I think Queenix even had an issue pressing the bomb and switching weapon there. I think there was an AK over the top.
It looked like it. Yeah.
Ratted him out, let's say.
It definitely confused me for a second. It's like, wait, are you switching the bomb? Are you switching the weapon intentionally, or is that the misclick on the bomb? Either way, 8-5 as Kova will be able to take it at least a little bit further. So it's looking better. You know, it's definitely looking stronger from what they started with, or from how it started to chime out for Copenhagen Flames. But let's see fresh, able to keep the numbers even. Oh, through the smoke we go again, don't we? Luckily, they stopped in the nick of time. That was important. You know, I hate Kova or I hate to see Kova running through smokes. That's what I meant to say. Don't get me wrong. Phoenix and Nodios, though, still alive. They might be able to make a difference, and they do! Squeenix finds one in Fiatola. The lineup on Piku as well. And Kova will be dismantled quickly and easily. 9-5, and, well, conveniently in the name of the tournament coming up.
For sure, for sure. Kova. Waiting until they get the AWP retrieved. There we go. Bomb will be defused. These Kova going to be heading to a plentiful purchase, let's say, into the final round. Have enough in the utility bank to be able to play for quite a holistic purchase. AWP might even be invested, but not really extensive enough. So they will get 5 rifles and plenty of nades to run with. Copenhagen Flames, I'm quite impressed with their performance so far. 9-5 on a first half of Nuke is a scoreline that even for, you know, some maps they don't even see. The last time that they played Nuke. Quite a walkover. Durkips, though. Beautiful entry. Nodios, first man to fall. Already onto the B site. Round instantly under threat, and seems like Kova already have a leg up at securing round number 6 here to close out a very quick round to finish the half.
Seems like that will be the case. 9-6 is a respectable ending considering how it all went, and when you put it into perspective for Copenhagen Flames, 9-6 is pretty much the best thing that could have happened to them in this position. And again, just to reiterate how how it all started, you know, with the 2-0 beginning here for Copenhagen Flames, and then 3-2 in favor of Kova, and seemingly like Kova having an upbeat step against Copenhagen Flames, potentially even pulling themselves quite a little bit ahead. Copenhagen Flames were able to draw it back, inch by inch. 9-6, though, still a commendable first half for Kova, regardless. It's a decent enough of an ending that gives them ample opportunity to pick it back up as the CTs and make life living hell for Copenhagen Flames in any case. Second half is about to go live, the second pistol right with it.
At least one thing for Kova, now they can go into much more of a settled CT half. Easier, quote-unquote, half to play on the map of Nukes. Oh, yeah. So we'll see what they can bring to the table. But if Copenhagen Flames continue their run of form here from that first half, then Kova, well, they will start to be in a bit of trouble. Nodios, default nade down to the door, smoke down as well. Already some decent damage traded back, but straight through hut they go. Nodios and Queenix, well... Wow. There we go. It's another rapid pistol round. Pretty much replicating the first. 4 quick kills. Pietola isolated. This is 10 on the board for Copenhagen Flames.
Well, that was fast. That was quick. We might just have a fast map on our hands, given how it all began and given how it all kicked off here. I did not expect to see such ferocity from Copenhagen Flames, and most certainly nobody else did as well. Although, it is a force buy for Kova. We have Deagles, we have the MP9, the Scout. It's a decent enough of a buy here that can work against the Flames. So we should mention we've seen Kova win some very weird rounds in this first half, or in the first half we just saw. So I wouldn't count them out just yet. Copenhagen Flames taking it easy though, as they'll be slowly trying to overtake outside control, making sure they clear all the tight angles first, that there will be no surprise behind any secret positions. Not even going outside by the looks of it though, or are they? It seems like they might be a bit indecisive. Smoke's being lined up. Are there going to be a fake? Are there going to be a commitment through them? Well, we'll find out for sure in a matter of moments. If I had to take a bet, though, I'd say it's probably a fake smoke line out. Just kind of put Kova in a bit of a pressure point, force them to use whatever utility they might have saved up. There's the nade. That's a dead giveaway. Copenhagen Flames, they've revealed their hand, I think. Kova's read them so far so well. They know that this is going to be an A execution.
Yeah, they're stacked quite appropriately for this one. This could actually go wrong for Copenhagen Flames, thankfully, as they do put pressure down to ramp. Turkic. Gory spots the info. Hooksy flies into Pietola, gets the early one. Wixie, though, good response with the Deagle. Unfortunately, that seems like the only kill he might get away with. Damage now done. Nodio's tagged. Always a chance here. Bomb has to be planted and thankfully have the time to do so. They don't even need it either way. Copenhagen Flames will wrap the round up itself. 11 and 5. Felico to come for Kova. 12 seeming likely. And Copenhagen Flames so far off to a very good start in the second half. Or 12 to 6, sorry.
Really is, isn't it? Who would have thought that they would be going for a potential double fake there, breaking the doors, molotoving through main as well, hoping to deal as much damage, or trying to mess up the mind of Kova as much as they can, and successfully so as well. Let's see if pistols could be a difference maker for Kova, though. Like I said already, we've seen them win some rounds that most certainly we shouldn't have been seeing them, and well, a valiant effort is what we can chalk it up to be here. Nothing more. As Copenhagen Flames, as you said, 12 is coming up regardless of what Kova do by the looks of that. Pietola as well, just spotted. That's a wrap. It's going to be a very convincing start for the second half. Copenhagen Flames, this is such a different line, or such a different style, or not even style even. It's just the performance in itself is so much better than what they had against Force.
Yeah.
You know, could there be a complexity complex there?
Yeah, it seems like Copenhagen Flames have definitely come into this with, like we saw yesterday, the brute force mentality of contact, right? Just get in, get out in terms of at least one of these series, perhaps if they can ride out of Nuke. They realize that if they do the majority of the hard work in the first game, they get Nuke under their belt, they head into Overpass essentially with the series majoritively their back pockets moving forward. As we know, Overpass is not a great map in terms of Kova. They've played it no times officially, which is the biggest outlier. It is essentially one of the 2 insta bans that they do have. They have a 5-map pool. Dust 2 is one of the ones, again, that they don't really play, but thankfully it's not great for Flames either. So essentially down to 4 maps. Train isn't brilliant either, so, you know, Kova don't have an extended map pool. But Overpass, you know, not officially played, it does lie in the hands of Flames, so they've really got to bounce back on this second half if they do want to take this game and keep at least an insurance policy in the series, or else Copenhagen Flames might, just like you say, could sort of start to complete a 2-0 uprise. Their fellow companions of complexity did. Hector's great first entry already closes out Durkips. The flank spotted. Twixie able to return the kill. Back to a 4-on-4, but this is a vital round. Kova need to exchange this one, and, well, fortunately, they make the manpower even, but the bomb site's already lost.
Well, Kova is in a little bit of a pickle. They are locked out of ramp due to the Molotovs, and if they do decide to aggress through it, they'll be meeting fierce resistance. Uli holding the line, though, through vents. Perfectly done as Huxley gets caught. Hectos, though, is ready for that drop down. And there's a lineup that he's going to have, and indeed he does. Twixie out. Down to Piku, it falls to his own hands, and, well, he's going to have to solve this one by himself. He has no kit. Does have a smoke, though. Presses the bomb, tries to draw attention. Now, this will be, of course, drawing the attention of both players. Oh, boy. He might have actually succeeded if he had a kit here, but unfortunately, even with Hexus getting shut out, he has nothing of the like, and he could not have pulled it off. And, well, valiant effort, but it's not enough. 13-6, Kova. That was a close call. And a nice idea they had, but kit is always vital.
Definitely so, yeah, this is good. So far, at the moment, keeping Copenhagen Flames alive. The money not particularly too great for Kova, so an eco round on the cards. still at the moment. Eagles, we know they're always a bit of a deadly asset. Already Hut has been pressured. First kill found by Piku. This is a great beginning. Quixie has been tagged as well. With Copenhagen Flames pressing ramp, we'll see what they can do here as they will go for the push. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ooh.
Okay, they do get the trades, but still a man advantage for Kova. Do not take this away from them yet.
Yeah, this round is not yet granted fully. It is essentially going to their side still, which would be perfect given their circumstance. Given that they have an op that they saved up as well, would add on top of their lost economy quite nicely. We do see that. Current stance. Hectos is like, hello and good day, sir. Oh, there Kips doesn't check the corner. Of course he does not. Down to Piku it goes. On short, he's coming through. Doors are open though, and I'm fairly certain he was spotted. Yes, he was. Hectos doesn't even care. 14-6 says Hectos and Nodius make it look easy. A 1-on-3 that they pull off. This shot right here, you know, clearing the angle that tightly, just shows to tell how pedantic they are about everything. Whilst for Kova, unfortunately, a 3-on-2, you should be a bit more vigilant of those close corners, especially when you push down ramp. Need to be aware that there's a chance somebody might be waiting behind one of those close corners. Timeout. Last one for this map. Well, what better time to use it than on your gun round and on your potentially last gun round that you will have.
Now or never. Copenhagen Flames, if they do find themselves a victory here, that is pretty much the map said and done. Kova, they've got to step up. Got a full buy to do it. They have the money ready with the AWP. They've invested everything that they've got here to try and survive. Over it does feel a little one-dimensional though. If we do flashback to maybe, you know, a play of contact or complexity, we see outside control very regularly taken. Kova during the CT side haven't really shone a light in this part of the map, so it does allow Copenhagen Flames the free roam around the map themselves, just to walk into secret, get the positions already established. I mean, just look at radar. You can see right now nobody is on the B bomb site themselves. They could have all funneled through secret by now, and Kova would be none the wiser. And well, there's the first little interaction. Twixie does get away with the kill, fortunately, but it's down to the B site they go. The info has now been translated for the 5-on-4 to play. Uxie good return, but only gets away with one. Piku able to deny it, but the positions that Copenhagen Flames can take up, it's all down to the retake. They've got the necessary utility. They've got the weapons. They just have to rat out these CPH players.
Well, let's see if they actually succeed. The lineup being played here by Queenix, holding his left corner of Refresh. Oh, no, both line up. And that's going to be a bit of an undoing of their own as Refresh finds the third. Derkip's never stood a chance. And that's what happens when you're playing with fire. When you allow them to cross the secret, you don't have a response team ready down ramp, ready down secret itself on long or short. Well, you pay the full price. Trying to enter through a very linear position usually leaves you extremely vulnerable. 15-6, money is gone. They'll have a rebuy, sure, an M4 for Piku, the rest with what they can afford. And it looks like we might be closing out this map pretty soon as Copenhagen Flames quickly dismantle and disregard Kova as an easy opponent almost.
Exactly that. This is their own map pick. This is a big worry now going into Overpass. And, you know, there's always that maybe hidden gem that Kova have just been waiting for a team to challenge them on this map. But when a team does not play officials on Overpass or any map, no matter what it is clear, of course, that it is it's one that they do not play. And we'll refresh. There's the double. Nodio's already getting the job done. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. 16-6. Copenhagen Flames, they will snatch the map pick of Kova, already putting the series under threat. It is Kova's map that is gone. Copenhagen Flames, a very convincing victory on a map themselves that they're not particularly acquainted with.
That's the thing, right? We're seeing Copenhagen Flames take victory where I'm not going to say it's unlikely that they would have taken it, or at least that, you know, it's not like they can't win. It's just 33% win ratio out of 15 maps that they played before this one certainly tells the story that Nuke is not exactly their best partner in crime. And, well, they seem to be having a pretty good old time right now. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be our second map, Overpass, coming up, and that is where Kova truly should be trembling perhaps a little bit more. But we'll speak about it once we get into it, so we'll be back in about 10 minutes time. See you soon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, of course, as we will be getting into map number 2. It is Copenhagen Flames versus Kova, as we will be heading into Overpass, the map pick of Flames, after they swiped away Nuke in a very convincing fashion. This map lies on the helm for Kova. They lose it. Copenhagen Flames take the series. It's their map pick. It's in their hands.
Simple as that. This is it. Kova. They have a chance to break bread with Copenhagen Flames, and subsequently bring us onto train. Although we all know how hard that will be, or how hard something like such is to achieve. Quick reconnect there. I believe it was Hectos that took that reconnect. But we are back. Pistol is going live, ladies and gentlemen, as we are entering the 3rd day here of Home Sweet Home. Of course, Group C. The elimination series already in front of us, and well, we did see quite the start this morning. Both best of ones being relatively fast. Of course, the best of 3 OG versus Force even faster. One would argue that OG didn't really have any real competition in their position, and I guess in a way that is true. So we'll see if perhaps you know, whoever will make it out of this group as the second team will be able to keep the honor of the rest that were eliminated. But Copenhagen Flames, they made it look easy on Nuke. I didn't expect a victory like such. I think neither did you, if we're both honest, right? In that case, I didn't think that Kova would actually be falling as quickly as they did. And this brings an interesting question to the table. Is Copenhagen Flames akin to complexity when it comes to best of ones?
That's the thing, right? It seems like a lot of these, let's say, higher level teams, or at least more established sides, do tend to struggle more in these best of ones. Maybe coming into this as not a, I don't want to use the word lazy in terms of their approach, but At least not as bothered about a best of one rather than a best of three, right? A best of three, you know, you're in the majority of LANs, majority of bigger online tournaments always play the best of three formats, whereas you get into a best of one, it feels maybe a bit like Prac, maybe a bit like MDL, you know, the scrim matches where teams do begin to struggle. But yeah, Copenhagen Flames, they've hit this best of three on an incredible pace so far. Refresh has got maybe the worst yet best timing in the world in terms of the players that crossed over through long, although this is a read right now that could go incredibly wrong if... refresh. Refresh.
Yeah, this is... Don't hide! Please hide, for the love of Meister. Okay, he gets 2, which is a lot better than what I thought he's going to be getting. And he also wastes their only smoke, which is actually really good, comparatively.
Yeah, this is actually not too bad at the moment, with 50 seconds left on the clock. Unfortunately, they've ran out of the utility that they had in this pistol round in the side of Kova, but again, the read from Copenhagen Flames. They've picked out a perfect little hold for this B bomb site. They've realized exactly what is going on, although Durkips gets away with a kill. Not this time, though, as Huxi and Nodios hold the line. Isolates down into the 1 versus 2. Durkips looking for the 4K to win the round. The bomb will be planted. No reason to force a fake there. Will constrict the time that they have. Durkips just waiting, but opportunity does not arrive. Copenhagen Flames, pistol round on the board for them. That is 3 out of 3 played so far, I believe.
Yeah, it is. It is. You are right. They took both on nuke, and well, they start off strong here. Gotta give it to them. It's definitely an improved line of Copenhagen Flames we're seeing, and Refresh, this second shot was vital, because not only does it stop Kova in their place even further and holds them a little while longer, it also gives a very dire feeling, or puts a very dire feeling in the minds and the hearts of Kova, where, you know, you lose 2 players for literally nothing. You get yourself quickly shut down and you have nothing to show for it. You lost the smoke, you lost your positioning, you really are in a bad place. Piatola, good start with the killing connector, though as they push through short and the smoke here, the angle for Huxi just seems to be still exploited, though in the end, coming close. Very close.
Ooh, Queenix. The angle might just work out now that Hector's has provided the bait, although does get risky, but Queenix, he's also a step ahead of the game. 2-0 for Copenhagen Flames. Investment from Kova not going to work out this time. An eco to play. And should be round number 3 for the Danes. Again, brilliant start here on the CT side. Off to make good amends at the moment. We'll see what Kova can do, but for now, should be a flat round for Copenhagen Flames. 3 to start before the first buy of Kova.
Certainly looks like it. And we'll have a little bit of a round up towards playground. Looking like Kova is going to be taking this together, looking at it as a community effort, hoping to grab themselves a kill or 2. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they can even get the plant, but if they get a kill or 2, in my mind, they've done a good job already. Let's see if that's actually going to be happening. Well, there's one. The second is now lined up potentially, though the damage is quite severe, and it is highly unfortunate that they cannot do more than that. But 3-0, as you called it, as you said, Kova will have to start playing right here, right now, with the first gun round in their hands if they wish to make a difference.
Yeah, this is where Kova will really have to start stepping things up now. Copenhagen Flames. You have the AWP out for Hectors, of course. Kova will be bringing theirs out in the form of Durkip, something that we didn't particularly see on the T side of Nuke. Was the sniper that they were playing, so it is a welcome change here on Overpass. However, Copenhagen Flames, all the utility they've got, Twixie takes quite the tag through the Spammable wall, maybe a second bullet. No, not going to connect this time, although it is nice damage inflicted early. Kova will be more set in their ways of a default, though. Bomb will move its way around towards a long 2 split through connector. Seems like they are incredibly aware of this kind of setup. Refresh toward the top of long will be the player to hold the front line. Hector's with the AWP, however, if he gets the timing, will be able to keep his teammates safe. Again, does depend on the position here, and as they will take up towards short, this is where things could get a little dicey, but not this time. Refresh. Flashbang was good. Gets the early frag, keeps himself safe beyond the smoke, and Copenhagen Flames go into the execution with a man advantage.
Have themselves at least a bit of a head start, that's for certain. Kova, though, I wouldn't count them out just yet. Dirkip's on the op. Might be able to make a bit of a difference if they're able to isolate Hectos. Well, I say it, well, he seems to be having different plans in mind. Good luck trying to shut him out. And Nodios, as easy as that, holding from a very, very, very basic position, usually checked by a Molotov or otherwise by anybody entering the site. And that is going to be a distinct startup for Copenhagen Flames, 4-0. And there is a good reason why they have a very clear statistical advantage on overpass and why they kept to it as well. I mean, you can see that they're a lot more confident and their CT positioning is a lot better. They're consistently covered by crossfires, and that is what I love to see. That is what we lacked to see on Nuke somewhat. And they lost a few rounds because of that. Although here, they seem to be doing perfectly fine for each other.
Yeah, this is a really good start for Flames. Over again down to pistols. CT side should be able to keep it clean. Note the word should, though. The pistols, they always can become an issue, and that's exactly what we're premising. Traded evenly. Bomb can now be planted. That B bomb site, always a threat when Tech-9s are involved, or any pistols, really. Weapons have been scrambled. Iku gets himself an MP9. It's not preferable, but it definitely gives him that better firepower here. They've got plenty of utility on the Flames retake, though. They need to use this effectively. They can isolate the 1v1 angles. If they can at least play for the isolation, then it does work out here. Refresh, though, onto the site he goes. Smoke down for the defense.
He's going to hold. Nope. Never mind.
Should go for the hold. Not this time, though. Somehow still alive. No! Gets away with it. The lineup, the meat shield not working this time. And Kova will snatch the round off an eco.
What a close call. That was down to the last millisecond almost. You can see the blue timer ticking away right here. Look at this. It's down to the last second, really, as Piku saves it again. And, well, Mr. Piku. Thankfully, he had a P250 and not a Glock, because that could have been otherwise a disaster. 4-1 Kova. Pick it up. The most unforeseen of rounds, and, well, they do. So let's see if perhaps they can make a difference. Can they once again start Nuke, overpass as they had Nuke, and maybe build themselves up a little bit of an early advantage as well?
Not a good round at all for Flames to be losing. Thankfully, won't have a massive effect on this upcoming round in terms of their buy, but definitely not a round that you want to be losing in that sort of fashion. Still, at the moment, Flames, they will be putting the pressure on toward the short push with Refresh through the smoke. Gets himself just a slight of angles to play with. So far, like more of an A-sided, little bit of an info play, but round towards B, most likely for the setup themselves. Bomb will arrive top of Monster. No angle to be determined as of yet. Position from Queenix is good.
Not very classical.
Yeah, can be spotted out easily, we can say. The AWP, though, Queenix, yeah, has to reposition now. Gives up his location, but look at Piku. On the way through he goes. The lineup good. The trade's even. Oh, and Refresh just comes out a connector. Keeps the man advantage down to the 3-on-2. Traded by Pietala, though. This is still alive. Sight has been secure, but time is ticking. That bomb needs to go down.
It will go down, although I say it, prevented in the last second! Refresh pulls it back as he goes wild through short, finding himself a kill, and that shall be Kova losing the round to time out. As what a chaotic moment if we just break it down for a second. Piku, he was walking through A long through the smoke, trying to isolate, I believe it was Hector's on A site, Car Optimus, and once he got that frag, Kova snapped into action. They hit the B site, they tried to pull everything on top of that. But once again, we saw the push through the smoke. We saw that the flashbangs are not always going to be working as intended. And Kova paid a high price to get through there. Just like on Nuke, they paid a high price to move through smokes. And they leave themselves with so little time as well once it comes down to it. It really is a surprise that they even get anything done at that point. But the op was saved at least. That is the one thing that they have going for themselves. And let us see where it leads them to. 5-1 is starting to mark up into a distinct advantage for Copenhagen Flames, as we expected it. Oh la la. Very hard shot to hit though. Derkeps. Outing Refresh. But Hector's able to keep the clear numbers. Through the
molly,
what?
yeah.
What? I am a little bit lost here. I'm like, I get the fact you want to be fast about it, but just doesn't really make sense to me that you want to go through the Molotov. You lose more than half of your HP when a fully ignited Molotov burns you. And again, you know, they could have isolated Hector's. They knew he was somewhere in toilets. If they had focused all their efforts in hunting him down, yeah, sure, your time might be low when you hit the site, but it's an eco. You have time for that. You got a minute basically on the clock. So it does come out a bit weird that Kova just then decide to push to the site. Though, timeout going to be called itself. 6-1.
He's giving Kova a little bit of a break. Allows them to get reset for this upcoming gun round. Again, it's one of those where they will not have the AWP in play, but will have enough in terms of the AKs, the rifles, to be able to get through the round itself. But so far, so good. Copenhagen Flames off to a perfect beginning at the moment. The CT side looking as strong as we know it can be, especially on a map like Overpass. Here comes the turn of pace, though. Early, good entry. Lands onto Hooksy. Gives himself the initial entry to find. Now, this forces Flames go back to a 2-on-2 split for these bomb sites. The T side will try and put the pressure on now, with the B-sided commit looking likely. Copenhagen Flames have read into this incredibly well, though. They've got refresh, quick rotate from Heaven. Odio's on the back of the site, and the first man pushed up close. Queenix on toxic barrels. This might just work out as quite a solid setup here on the side of Flames. It all depends on Queenix, and there's his kill. Gets away with one. The lineup's good, and Copenhagen Flames, they hold the bomb site, giving Kova no chance of entry.
Lee. Let's check. Toxic, but Heck does. Well. Ooh. Ooh, picks up with his shoulder. Oh. Okay, I mean, fair enough. I guess that works. I didn't expect him to be peeking up and upwards, but sure. Copenhagen Flames 7-1 as they're starting to pick up a bit of the pace and certainly making Kova look bad, if nothing else. Although, you know, we did briefly touch on the subject of the map bans and picks of Kova. I will admit I was surprised to see Mirage being removed by Kova. Just simply because, if nothing else, when you look at it statistically, when you look at it from all potential angles, Mirage is amongst the worst maps for Copenhagen Flames, besides Vertigo that they do not actually play, and Dust 2 that they are still pretty poor on. So it's like, you know, maybe take a chance, maybe take a Garner at least, instead of leaving yourself to play a map that you utterly do not play at all. And, well, clearly you're not exactly sure what should be the tactic to go about here, and what should be the call to go about here. And, you know, it kind of does baffle me a little bit that they allowed this to happen in a best of 3, you know. Maybe as the third map I could see Overpass, but allowing it to go into the second choice of, well, into the choice of Copenhagen Flames seems a little bit of a stretch. And, well, I mean, then when you look at it even further and you think on it, it's just unlucky Kova also have to deal with two very strong maps of Copenhagen Flames that they actually don't play. So it's a bit of a lose-lose scenario for them either way. With Inferno being, of course, the first insta-ban that they had on their choice.
Yeah, this is not a great position for Kova to be in. Like you say, overpass. It should have been a map that they avoided. In terms of especially playing against Flames, as we know are a very solid side. And with this being T side for Kova as well, their executions, their runs into the site are always going to be a lot more jagged around the edges. For a team that doesn't particularly play this map, Hooksy reads into the push. Through the smoke they go. The trades are good, but Hooksy better. 4 on 3 as they will be able to reset back down to a site hold now for Flames. No reason to overextend, although Nodios moving around the smoke. Redwell, double return. This is better now. Sight still up for grabs. Missed shot by Hector's as well. Maybe a second bite of the cherry, but not this time. They've still got refresh coming in from the flanks, though. This is at least a chance to play, but Hector's, he needs to at least bait for the info here.
Well, no bait, no info. Chance, well, might just be gone before it even is given. Refresh. He's got a nade. He could chug it right behind the corner. There we go. Chug a chug, Doug. Ooh, that is unfortunate. Hits the little bit of a wooden. No. Okay. Thank you. Oh, man, for a second there, I was like, no way. Surely you don't give it to him that easily, right? Surely, after he botches the nade and has to fight a 1-on-2 still, you don't give it away that simple. Luckily, that doesn't happen. That was... Oh, man. Kova is playing with my feelings at times. It really is, I feel like.
Yeah, thankfully, stable enough to at least get themselves a second round off of the back of it. Flames, though, where they can really start to press. Reset potential is always on a side that loses this many rounds, buys into one, and loss bonus starts to decrease again, so... Over. Back to the B site they go. Seems like they love this side of the map, and rightly so. Their execution seems to be thorough. Beautiful. 3 kills found, round gone. Kova get third. Save to come from Flames. Their money already down in the dirt, even on the CT side. Kova will be able to stabilize at least a little bit going into this stretch of the first half, though. Round number 3, maybe even 4 should be on the way. Copenhagen Flames, not enough to go into a bye for the next.
Well, they seem to be breaking, at least at the armor of Copenhagen Flames. They seem to be able to chip away somewhat. This is important that they stopped Copenhagen Flames where they have at the moment. That they're able to, you know, halt their pacing before they reach those double digits. We do see that with the 2 rifles saved, well, the op and the M4, the Flames will have to make a decision, most likely an eco round. I'm not going to say, you know, it could still be FAMAS's being bought up and such. It's not impossible. Certainly not out of the question, given that they already have decent enough weapons to begin with. Timeout, of course, being called to kind of discuss this potential possibility, I guess, if we can put it like that. I'm just wondering what the discussion is. Is it about the potential buy, or is it more, okay, guys, it's okay. We got 8-3. We got map 1 already. Chill, even if we lose this, don't worry about it, you know, don't stress about it. Is it motivational? You know, maybe is it trying to break down a tactic of your opponent and seeing what could work the next? Either way, it's always an interesting concept to me when a team seemingly doesn't have enough for a buy and they take the timeout, because usually you would discuss some pertinent issues in those moments. But let's see how this goes. It's another B rush, 3 players defending, all USPS. Is actually an M4 on Refresh that was put here as well. Hooksy finds one and Refresh helps out. Refresh finds 2, that's the bomb drop. No way, Refresh finds the second. And the third overall in his repertoire is leaving it down to Piatola, already tagged hard. Refresh takes a wild angle, though. No way! Whatever you discuss, Copenhagen Flames, it seemed to have worked. Right. It seemed to have worked out. This is crazy. This really is crazy.
How does that even happen? Refresh just... plays Smoke Criminal, gets away with an absolute dream of a situation. But Kova, that's a full eco round with a saved M4 doing all the work. That's not good.
And then let anybody else speak up to a potential of the saved weapons. Like, that is exactly what happens when you let the weapon be saved and you're not paying too much attention when you go hit a site and you're trying to blindly brute force it. As you well put it, just like Contact yesterday. Luckily for them, they succeeded. They had a pretty easy run, but today, Kova, well, good luck.
First man already dead. Gives Copenhagen Flames, again, just that further advantage here, and they are making CPH look very, very good right now. This is a very dominant CT side, better even than what we've seen on Nuke so far. Lack of utility. Odios in the corner. Is he going to be checked? No, he is not. Gets away with two. Third from Hector's. There we go. Easy round, committing through smokes again on the side of Kova. Money is limited for some, but double digits on the board already for Flames. I don't think we're staying in this map much longer. Flames just look red hot right now.
Certainly doesn't feel like it, does it? And yeah, they are. They are burning the coal. They're burning the midnight oil, and they are definitely enjoying it. They have another best of 3 ahead of them if they do come down to it. Against an opponent they've already met once today. Hector's will open it up again on a pistol round by cross by Refresh being held, and that is how you hold a cross. That is how you play this aggressive positioning. I love this so much from Copenhagen Flames. This is such a stark difference from when they worked against, or when they played against Force. Simply put, because you know, Hector's goes aggressive, but you see what the rest of the team is doing. Nobody's overly aggressive themselves. As Refresh is holding a dead angle or an off angle, the rest of the team is kind of patiently waiting on B, not looking to take aggro towards short or monster, just allowing Hector's to have this moment of his own. And well, he does what he needed to do, got the frag and allowed Refresh to then clean up the mess behind him. Perfectly well executed. 11-3, should be 12-3 before long, although, you know, double up could be an answer here for Kova to make it work. I'm not gonna say it too soon. 11-4 still potentially on the board. Either way, a disastrous first half for Kova, regardless of how well they might spin this one out.
Double AWP is the key. Dirkips gets the entry. Hector's maybe being a little bit too over-aggressive, though. Trying to force the hand, potentially. But it is the final round of the first half. I think we can take nothing away from Flames. They have been incredible here. 11 as a minimum. Always a very good way to end, and especially with this map being a very, very spicy one for Kova in terms of not having the fundamentals. This is where I do worry. Copenhagen Flames will pretty much lock things down as soon as this second half switches, but they've got this round to play. They can finish 11-4. It's not all desolate. It's not all doom and gloom. But a very confident performance from Copenhagen Flames. The one thing I'm astounded by with this team, they lose their in-game leader. Pick up Hooksy back again from, you know, the Danish scene. They still work out fairly well. You know, they've lost Tessus in the past. They still replaced him. Still doing very well. They then lose Farley. They're still doing very well. This side just doesn't seem to know, you know, when there's bad times ahead. They do look solid no matter what iteration. It seems like Kova, thankfully, will get themselves a 4th round, perhaps as Queenix is left isolated, but there's one thing that we can take away from Copenhagen Flames. They know how to pick talent.
11-4, man. 11-4. I don't... like... Is it going to be enough is, I think, an important question here. Is it going to be enough to break the barrier, break the ice, and the proverbial stone shield that Copenhagen Flames have just been able to pull right in front of them? I mean, just looking at the numbers themselves, just looking at how the rounds were played out, definitely a few successful moments for Kova as they were able to break through. But for the most part, this is Copenhagen Flames all the way. And let's see the second pistol, the fourth potential pistol to go here for the Flames. Kova are not going to step up their game.
Fortunately, if they lose this pistol, we can see where this series is going to be heading, unfortunately. Still, they are going to be playing more of an aggro setup. Queenix gets away with one, but Durkip's better. Catches out onto both Hectors and Queenix here. 3 players down onto the B site. Will be soon joined by a 4th. Hooksy dead in the waters. Twixy does get out with a trade, but Refresh isolates the final 2. Dangerous to peek back into the angle of short, though. They do need to be careful. The bomb is down on the further cross, so they do need to retrieve that if they want to continue with this round, but they will be clearing out the angle. All it takes. Refresh now spots both. That is exactly what he wanted to do. They'll draw in the players from connector. The bomb has to be retrieved, but gets it. This is where now they've got to split the manpower. Refresh, while he waits, he'll hold from connector. Nodios has the position. He'll get the... Oh, if he gets into this corner, that should be it. But no, Nodios misses a vital round of bullets, and Piku kills him off. They still think it's the B site, though. Refresh still has a chance at least to get the plant.
Let's see what he chooses to do here. What is Colonel Monologue will be saying? Like you said, Kova were initially thinking it might be B. Refresh, though. This timing will be impeccable. By the looks of it, perfectly so. Although he... Oh... Okay, they've heard him now, thank God. For a second there, one would have thought that perhaps they didn't hear him. Thank God for Piku. But their Kips will be able to keep it up and clean it up. The fourth pistol in the totality of the series goes to Kova. The second one of this map to them. Thankfully, they make it a little bit better with that. As you said, you know, if they had lost it, we might as well say goodbye already to Kova and the Finns. But overall, what a crazy, crazy round itself. Refresh at, what, 20 frags? He's doing a great job right now.
Yeah, he's really off the mark very early. 17 rounds, well, 16 full rounds played. 20 kills to his name. He is having a great time. Flames have gone majoritarily for an eco, but put Refresh onto the AK. I think that's the right thing to do with his current playstyle. There we go. Does return the trade. Doesn't survive for long, unfortunately. AK can be retrieved. However, we shall see. Durkips does get tagged. Gets away with the kill just barely. Should be 11 and 6. Kova at least generating now some rounds off the mark here on the CT side. But again, there is always the worry that Flames, as soon as they get the gun round back out, that is where they will continue their run of dominance. So Kova have got to grab these rounds while they still can. The rebuy should be coming through. Refresh down onto a Deagle after the heroic AK buy in the previous round, but should be manageable at least. 11 and 6. We'll see where they can go from this one. Full set of utility for the majority. Copenhagen Flames, we'll see what they can bring to the table. T-side already going to be putting that early pressure. Molotov not extinguished. Still does decent damage onto 2, but Hector's, there's the start they were looking for.
Ouch.
Headshot onto Twixy. Great first beginning. That now leaves a hole in the B bomb site, forces the A side to rotate back. They've now got to play super defensive on this hold on the CT side.
It puts a lot of stress on Kova when we saw the entry to come in. Basically, they had 2 players deep on towards long, looking like they wanted to take control towards tree or rock even, and maybe further in towards playground or party perhaps even later on. Of course, with that now happening, or with how it transpired to lose Twixie, the response was immediate to pull back, as they should, and go into the defensive. As you said, it does leave them vulnerable, it does leave them exposed. Huxi getting mollied. A lot of damage dealt on Hectos and Huxi, so they're not exactly, you know, in pristine condition. Copenhagen Flames have the advantage currently man-wise, and they have the utility as well to execute this B site with near perfection. 37 seconds though, time is of the essence as the Flames are drawing out this battle, this round itself. And we're going to be nearing very close moments here, very close timings. This is important. 23, imperative that they start their push now, and they do. Pietola, Piku, the lineups do not work out fully, but they are enough. Perhaps Uli can make a difference. The spray down, and Uli! The hat trick is perfect. As Kova are saved by the bell. And I should mention, this hold on Monster, it did a lot better than I expected. The MP9 especially.
Yeah, they actually keep the round alive just by playing around the pole, right? Perfect from Kova. Keeps Copenhagen Flames now down onto their eco. Seems like a faster play again toward this B site. Might be in for a rush here for the side of Flames, although Kova, they do seem a lot more settled now. Scary that they've got more rounds here on Overpass, a map that they've never officially played in the last 3 months compared to the map of Nuke that we have just seen. Odios will return the frag onto Twixie though. At least keeping them at a 4-on-4. No commitment out of Copenhagen Flames just yet. They will rotate back on toward the stairs up toward Connector. Maybe not yet decided as to where they will go. With a minute left on the clock, got plenty of time before they need to make their choice. If they isolate these 1v1s, and Uli might just be under a bit of threat here, though. Through connector door they go. This is where they can now read out the information. Uli, he has a lot of footsteps to play with here. No commitment from him through the door, but right place, right time. Bomb dropped, isolated.
Even close the doors.
That'll be the round itself, and yeah, shuts off the outside world. There it is. Round number 8, Kova. They do wrap up the eco round as expected.
Beautiful stuff. Nodio switches out his weapon just in the most unopportune of times as well. So it sucks that, you know, he can't even get a kill out of it all. But at the end of all, that is going to be 8 rounds, yeah, to Kova. So far, so good. Uli again displaying his prowess, his quality. This is not over. Double up, Twixie and Dirkips. Ektos, though, will be looking for perhaps a few early breakers as well. Ooh, they attempted a triple boost there on towards the edge in T-base, trying to get the spot into onto B heaven, and of course that jump spot. That's not gonna happen. So instead, it seems to be the name of the game here. Copenhagen Flames.
Especially in this first gun round, they don't want to be making any rash decisions at the moment, especially with this one really allowing Kova back into the game if they lose it, and will Piku. Perfect start. Dirkips exactly the same. 2 kills already guarded, make it 3 on the corner. Copenhagen Flames playing very, very individualistic. Nodios' head spotted. We'll get the kill somehow. Pietola whiffing the spray. Bomb is not yet in his hands though, so can't commit to the plant. But it at least allows this round to be somewhat more viable. Yeah, if they don't check this corner, it might become an issue. Nodios, there we go, gets away with 1, allows the plant to at least go down safely. 1-on-3 determines at least cash in the bank for Copenhagen Flames, but Queenix trying to win himself the 1 versus 3 and uses all the utility, isolates the players, keeps himself safe for now, takes out Dirkips. Health low from Uli, this is now doable.
This is the thing right now. Oh, Queenix, his spidey senses are tingling. His spidey senses are tingling, but it's not enough. Very close call. Queenix, his positioning was very bad though. I have to say, once he got the bomb planted, and once he got the first frag into heaven, he needed to move out of that position. He needed to at least then either take an off angle and hold it and just wait for another frag and, you know, basically pray that he doesn't get flanked, or move out of that spot because they know where he is. They knew where he is or was, and the only thing that, of course, Kova had to do was keep him in place whilst the rotation came through short. So, you know, nice attempt, of course, by Queenix. Definitely valiant and definitely worth mentioning, but still, he left himself dry there a little bit. Ooh, Dirkips. That's not an easy shot to make, and, well, he does. 11-9 looking like potential 11-10 as Kova have had enough of the BS, sort of, to say.
Yeah, really, they're starting to bring this map back into contention. The fact that this is Overpass, a map that they've never really officially played in the current time frame, is always a worrying factor at the start, but they seem to have somewhat settled down quite nicely here. With Copenhagen Flames on the verge of allowing Kova back into this game, and you can definitely write this down to being more of an error on the side of Copenhagen Flames rather than a solid CT side from Kova. You can tell that they are playing flat defaults and not really, you know, as a CT side should. They're not going aggressively. They're not playing for the kills all the time. They are just holding the bomb sites, but Copenhagen Flames are giving them the opportunity to make these rounds work, and Kova are taking them as they come. 30 seconds on the clock. Execution down onto the A bomb site. Queenix, great first entry. Piku gets away with a trade, but again, back to a 4-on-3. Time is now really of the essence. Molotov down, but smoke does extinguish the flames. Nodios takes out Piku. The smoke good enough, but not good enough to deny the plant. Nodios somehow still alive, and again gets away with two.
Nodios.
Flank from Pietala on the way, but I'm sure he might have already been heard, and I think Hector's is definitely, no, he's not aware. Nodios now isolated. No kit, but definitely time on the, there's a kit. Please pick up the kit. He does, there we go.
He will. Yeah, that's important. This one-on-one time is still of the essence. Wildly goes out on the gap, as he does not expect Nodios to be, well, out in the open like a cactus. And, well, 12-9, Copenhagen Flames, thanks to Nodios, they actually get the round. It's all on him there, single-handedly taking it out of the hands of Kova and still clutching it until the very last breath. Kova, we can see that money is a problem. Of course, they'll be going for pistols and Kevlar. They don't have much of a choice. Well, let's hope they get some successful shots in, some successful moments as Queenix will entry. Good nades, Uli with that return. Pietola comes out as well, but unfortunately they've cleansed out the remaining mess, and Hector's is already aware of a flank. There we have it. 13. Kova starting to be breached once again.
This is where Copenhagen Flames might just have enough to really close things off here in this series. Now they take away this gun round. Fortunately, 15 will be on the cards. Over a chance to reclaim their run in this series, but minimalistic one at that. Flashbang is good. Dirkip's forced off of the angle already. Copenhagen Flames, they are just wanting to commit to more of a default now. Kova maybe being a little bit more of a threat to Copenhagen Flames than they might have imagined at the start of this game. They do just want to make sure that they are taking it super seriously. Do not want to offer this E side or CT side anything at the moment. They've got the players down long. The angle being held by Uli. Do not account for the short cross, though. That is why EQ has been drafted in, but look at his weapon. Only a FAMAS to hold the line. And sure, you might face a MAC-10 first, but they've got some angry AKs that could follow up the situation, so they've got to be careful. 50 seconds on the clock, but look at this. Working through toilets, just playing so defensively. Without spotting anybody on this site, that is going to draw them back here, and Nodios, there's the chance. Uli, good return though. With a player that deep down long, they should realize there might be a second in support, but it all depends on the site itself. Time ticking. Execution now to come. Iku burning off of the back of the angle, not yet spotted. Flying MAC-10 kill. Iku still alive, but not that it makes a difference. 4 on 2 as that bomb will go down. Twixy last man, and Copenhagen Flames back on the winning podium.
Well, that was swift and a quick turnaround. Kova, they are in dire trouble. Certainly putting themselves in a precarious position that they might not have the tools to get out of. Looking at how it's spinning to be, Copenhagen Flames might just be the ones to go face Forset again and see how far it leads them to be, or how far it leads them in general. And as I said, maybe it's just the best of one, the reason why they lost against them earlier this morning. Although the result would say that even if it is a best of one, that is still a loss that you can't really ignore being a disastrous loss. 14-9 though, and Kova, well, unfortunately they'll find themselves in the same position they were on Nuke. Money is gone. They have a saved weapon they can work with. Now, is it a full investment? Of course it is. I mean, it's 14-9, right? In this case, do you have do you have a better choice, really? And if we really want to be very straight about this, I would have preferred to see an eco here, just because there's still a chance for OT. That's never going to go away. It's more about how the players feel, how the teams feel. If you allow your opponent to go up to 15, that sometimes breaks the spirit of many players, many teams, and you know that they have to make a decision. Do they try to hold them off here and try to make something special work here, or well, or will they just let it slide? Well, we see exactly that. It's gonna be something special from both sides. Go over the force and a full buy and a boost by Copenhagen Flames. A little while since we've last seen that work, but it's nice for a difference as Hectos takes down one. Piku, good night already.
Always a solid start. Durkips, though, good response. Gets at least the early trade back. Ensures that this round might not be as lost, but look at Refresh.
It's like,
all he has to say to his teammates right now is do not transfer over to short. Look at this, Refresh. Boy. He gets all of them. Last man alive of Twixy. Damage done, round gone. 15-9, the force buy. It doesn't work out this time. This is most likely Copenhagen Flames now bagging themselves a guaranteed 2-0.
Could be expecting that, but let's hope to see perhaps a different outcome if at all possible. Twixy. He saves the op, maybe he can make a difference. That was proven to us by Copenhagen Flames exactly. By Refresh. Wasn't an op that he, you know, saved the round with, an M4 in that case, but the idea behind it definitely stands true and stands tall. Copenhagen Flames are not really on a wild search for the player, though. That's weird. Usually, even if you might not have the best economy, you want to hunt down the last surviving member, especially at 14-9, when you know money is tight, when you know they forced up, you know that if you take this away, they have nothing for themselves. Twixy, though, will be able to save. That's actually an important notion because, as I said, it gives them a fighting chance. Much more so than any other weapon that they could have mustered up within their economical position. Korpietola, by the way. Like, he got killed when he was already trying to get the way.
Yeah.
Like, poor guy.
No escape.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very dominant from Copenhagen Flames. Right now. Durkips. Ooh, nice push out of Uli. Does get away with a kill onto Refresh. Still. So far,
1 by 1.
Italy, yeah. 1 by 1 peaks it. Gives Copenhagen Flames a 5-on-3 and Kova a massive advantage to most likely make this double digits. Copenhagen Flames, what can they do to prevent this? And still peaking isolated, but to be very careful. There we go. That should be the round now confirmed. 15-10. They're still in this game, at least for a little longer.
Certainly by the looks of it, that will be the case. Kova, it is... it definitely sucks to see them take a round straight after being blasted away on an attempted force, but 10 to 15. Match going to be paused, a technical pause by the looks of it. This time, if I had to take a gander, it's probably somebody out of the likes of Copenhagen Flames having an issue. Nope, never mind. It is
just a TeamSpeak crash, I think.
Yeah,
nothing
on
too
the side
major.
of Kova. Yeah. So we'll get that fixed ASAP, boys. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, since we have your attention for a second, I would like to direct everyone's attention to the sponsors of the tournament, of course. Check out Midnight. Check out, help me out here, Skin Baron, of course, and the Viking.
Esports Vikings, yeah.
Esports Viking, thank you, yeah. Make sure to check that out. Of course, Grid, the organizer of the tournament itself. They've been providing us with the chance to even do this, so big thanks to Grid themselves. And the production itself being run by Relog Media. Perfectly executed, perfectly done, as all things should be. Beautiful stuff. Great observers, great production. Loved it every single moment that we've had it for the last 7 weeks.
Been very, very smooth. Crystal clear. I'm also getting the production in on the Discord saying they've noted that I said it'll be a 2-0 for sure, so my head's on the line. So
Oh,
I'm on fine water here, let's say.
you definitely should be careful. You have a knack for perhaps jinxing at the times, but
Or
seems
maybe
like
not.
the jinx ain't happening. That should be the end here, I think. Dirkips and Uli, last two surviving members. Hector spots Uli already. Will be losing the duel, sure. Not gonna count them out just yet. Let's see. Dirkips and Uli, can they make this happen? Well, Dirkips misses his one and only chance most likely. Gets a kill still by means of a USPS, but they know where Uli's coming from. This is it, a 1-on-3, a clutch round. He needs to pull everything he's got, and he needs to be a hero about it. Gets one, gets two, good spray down. Backed into a corner, he is still alive, and a 1-on-1 against Queenix. The smoke is a little bit off, he's gonna hold it. Queenix, though,
There we go.
just comes up cement, gets the kill. 16-10 final score, and there we go, as Copenhagen Flames take it 2-0. Who would have thought?
Especially that we played Nuke as the first map. That is a big outlier for the side of Copenhagen Flames. They get a very, very solid run of rounds there and closing things out perfectly, really. The fact that Copenhagen Flames, their takeaway Nuke, even more of a solid victory than we saw on Overpass. The lesser map that they don't have as much experience on proved to be less troublesome than their own map pick, let's say. But they ride out of it 2-0 again. A very, very strong run from them. They will be able to, of course, bag themselves that best of 3 against Forza coming up to find who will take second place in the playoffs. As we can see the bracket here, that will be the final best of 3. But Copenhagen Flames, maybe it is time for them to turn up. A 2-0 so far sets up, again, a very interesting rematch with their counterpart of Forza back from this morning.
Yes, it does. I mean, when you look at it a little bit more in depth, you know, the best of 3 they'll have to work with here is not going to be easy. Forza, the loss they took has to have had at least somewhat of an effect on them. And Forza themselves having to play a spur of a show, or having a spur of a show as they had against OG could, you know, have detrimental effects on them as well. So this is perhaps a two-edged sword from both sides, and we'll just have to wait and see how the veto goes and what we'll be having as our first few maps. Either way, we won't tarry any longer, folks. That is going to be it for our elimination series. That is Kova having to say goodbye. Of course, Copenhagen Flames having one more chance to face up Forza again. And it's going to be coming up in about an hour's time, give or take, hour and 10 minutes, somewhere there. So, folks, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Make sure to check out all the sponsors you see listed below. And, of course, check us out on Twitter as well, myself at Overseart and Kieran at Vortex Kieran. Until we come back, though, in about an hour's time. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.